Hey guys, so welcome. So today I wanted to just talk to you about what you can expect regarding the final exam. Specifically, this is regarding the course careers final exam for the information technology course. Um, so I took this course back in November of 2022 and completed it in about just under 3 weeks. I wanted to just put a disclaimer that regarding this exam, since I did take it in November 2022, some things may have changed. I don't know if the exam has been updated, but I am going based on my experience, based on taking it just about 3 months ago, 4 months ago. So let's get started. You are probably here because you're in course career, or maybe you're thinking about taking course careers. You're in the middle of the program, the boot camp, and as you're going through the modules, and exam time will be coming in about module 7 if the curriculum has remained the same. So I wanted to just help you guys out and relieve a little bit of anxiety when it comes to test taking. I know a lot of people have anxiety around final exam time. What can I expect? You don't want to go drive yourself crazy. So I'm making this video in an effort to help people out, to relieve a little bit of anxiety, calm your nerves a little bit. The instructor, Josh, does have a module of some things you can expect going into the final exam in terms of like procedure wise and rules to follow. He also does set you up to win with providing you sample set of Anki deck questions. I will give you a preview of that here towards the end of this video. But yeah, let's just get started. So just so you know, in terms of the questions, there are 60 questions on the test. It's a mix of multiple choice, fill in the blank, and voice audio response. Multiple choice questions are 1 point each. The fill in the blank are 5 points each, and the voice audio response are 5 points each. So all the tests collectively is a mix of different things. There is also a practical portion and a regular test portion. So regarding the practical portion, that is not timed. You can take as much time as you need to. And for the practical portion of the test, if you've been going through the labs, when you get to the section regarding the GitHub and setting up your portfolio, that is the part that you're going to have to kind of duplicate for the exam. What I mean by that is, for part of the exam, you are going to have to come up with a project of your own and demonstrate that, illustrate that, and also, document it in writing format. It can be something very basic and small. For myself, for my GitHub, I did like how to remote desktop into a different computer, with the, laying out the instructions and with video recording and screenshots. So that is just an example, but for the practical portion of the final exam, you are going to have to, provide, like, demonstrate something small project that you will come up with on your own. And it can be anything. Most important, you do want to follow the instructor's guidelines, which he will provide, what to include on your practical portion, including titling your project and laying out a description of your project. You also want to include any applications or software used to execute the project. You'll also want to briefly describe, use proper grammar and writing when writing on your GitHub, how to execute whatever you're trying to do. So basically, whoever's viewing it can easily follow along. After you do that practical portion of the exam, and again, that portion is not timed, you will take the URL of that portion of the exam, and when you submit your final exam, part A, that you'll just take the URL link, submit that portion, and then once you submit that portion, then you'll go to the second portion of the test, which is actually taking the exam with the questions, the 60 questions I mentioned. In order to pass the exam, you need a total of 70%. That's collectively 70% to pass or more. The questions, like I said, a mix of multiple choice, fill in the blank, and audio response. Keep in mind, when I took the test in November, the test was proctored. If you're not sure what proctoring is, it basically means you are watched, just like in school, in elementary school, and back in the day, like you take a test in middle school and the teacher's walking around the room, kind of surveying, making sure no one's cheating. So in this digital age, they have Proctor Free, which is a software that gets downloaded onto your computer, and you would set up the Proctor Free information if you've gotten an email in your inbox. And then you would download the software, and before you take the question portion of the exam, the software will allow a video captured, like a camera, to be viewing you while you take the exam. But please note, I did check as of March 1st, and by the time I post this video, it will be the first week of March. But just so you know, I did check the curriculum back in my course careers, and it was noted that they don't use Proctor Free anymore. I don't know if that means they eliminated proctoring or just eliminated Proctor Free, which is a specific company. So just keep that in mind. But back to taking the exam, yes, it is a mix of those questions, the 60 questions. Just, do your best. Just don't cheat, no books, no notes, do your best. And the exam, let's get into what you can expect in terms of preparing additionally for the final exam. One of the things the instructor does do to set you up to win is he provides what he calls is an Anki deck, flashcard deck. It's a digital flashcard deck where there are a series of questions, very similar, that are, that you can expect similarly on the final exam. They're not exact, but they're very similar to help you get the practice, solidify your knowledge before taking the final exam. So just want to make it clear, as of when I took the exam, you get 2 chances to take the exam for free. And after those 2 chances, then it is a cost of $50, just to let you guys know. And once you've taken the final exam, you submitted your questions, and you get to the next screen, just be mindful. For example, let's say you submitted your test and you notice that it says your test has been submitted and here's your current score, and it will say 35 out of 60. Don't freak out and be like, oh my gosh, I failed. No, what happens is you have to wait for the instructor or whoever he's working with to grade your verbal responses, grade your GitHub project, and grade your fill in the blank portion. Someone has to physically review those, and then tally the additional points to make your total score. So with that in mind, that takes approximately 48 to 72 hours. So while you're waiting, hopefully by the time you get done, you'll get notified that, yay, you passed the final exam. You'll get notified by email that, your final grade has been posted. For me, I got notified, not only was the final grade posted and you passed, but it says your, certificate for printout is ready. So you'll get a certificate, you'll be able to download it and print it out and, be on your way. So with that said, let's get into what you can expect regarding the types of sample questions on the final exam. So let's get into that right now. Okay, guys, I'm back. So let's take a look at some sample questions that are very similar to what you will find on the final exam. So these are a few screenshots from the Anki practice exam questions that is in the course careers module. So for example, let's look at this question. You create a resource group along with 2 virtual machines within your Azure subscription. You use the virtual machines to do your lab, you finish up, and when you are completely finished with your labs and no longer need to use the virtual machines, what should you consider doing next? So you would have your multiple choice questions, and the answer would be delete your resource group along with all the virtual machines, as their existence on the platform will continue to basically use up your credits or costs in Azure. So if you are going through the modules, you know Josh is repeatedly talking about once you go through the labs, make sure you delete your resource groups, because the existence or just having them on use up your credits in Azure that costs money. So that's common practice with going through the labs. You'll be accustomed to doing that, deleting your resource groups and your VMs as you go along with each module once you've completed each module. So that's like one sample question. Let's look at another one. Which of the following systems typically contain a motherboard within them? A, desktops, B, servers, C, laptops, D, mobile devices or smartphones, or E, all the above? And yes, is all the above. All of these items contain a motherboard within them. So some questions are kind of a little bit less difficult than others, which is good. Another question: printers, keyboards, monitors, and speakers are all considered input devices. So this one would be false. And on the Anki deck, the good thing about these Anki decks, it does explain, the reason behind the answers. So, but yeah, in terms of printers and keyboards, they are all actually considered output devices. Speakers, broadcast sound, keyboards, printers also, have the paper spit out whatever, like output device. So let's get into another question. Your organization issues laptops to its employees and has budgeted $1,000 per year per employee for any extra peripherals they may need. Alice from accounting has submitted a help desk ticket and is complaining that it takes her forever for her to plug it in and unplug her monitors and other peripherals from her laptop whenever she comes to or leaves work. You are considering several solutions for her and decide to tell her that nobody else is complaining and just continue what she is doing in order to save the company money. Given the budget and existing technology, was this the best course of action? So that would be false. Seeing how the company does establish a budget, providing Alice with a docking station is a simple, cost-effective solution. Hence, if the company does provide $1,000 budget easily, a docking station can be part of that. It's also stated that the budget was created for providing extra peripherals if needed. So that's like an example of a multiple choice, a true-false question, an open-ended question where you do need to, practice what you've learned in the labs and what he discusses in the labs and think it through different workplace scenarios, like help desk. Another question: you receive the following help desk tickets at the beginning of your shift. So A through D. A, accounting department, 5 people are unable to access file share and they have a workaround. Another one has the CEO of a company is experiencing slowness on his iPad and seems upset. C, all customers in the West region are unable to check out or complete their purchases. And D, Daryl in sales has been locked out of his account. So as part of, as part of this question, it's about prioritizing what's the best course of action. So the last part of the question asks, you panicked that the CEO has created a ticket and began working on this case. This was the best course of action. Is it really? So it's false. Part of the reason being, like Josh explains throughout the course, when concerned about a position like in particular like help desk, you're trying to prioritize what's important. And what's important is actually what impacts the business. So with that in mind, while the CEO may be upset about his iPad, he's going to be even more upset when he finds out the company is losing money due to large-scale outage. So addressing, that which impacts the business takes precedence. So that's why that is false. Let's look at another question. This is an example, excuse me, this is an example of a fill in the blank question. So let's look at it. Blank should be strongly considered when trying to prioritize help desk tickets. So let's see, we have the name of the user, your relationship with the user, SLAs or service level agreements, or departmental budget. So the answer is service level agreements. Service level agreements is a commitment between a service provider and the client. Particular aspects of the service, the quality, availability, and responsibility are agreed between the service provider and the service user. So if you remember in the lab, the service level agreements, A, B, and C, like within an hour, 4 hours, or under 24 hours. I think it may be 8 hours, but definitely under 24 hours. It helps prioritize the urgency of tickets. Let's look at another question. Excuse me, remote desktop support or remote desktop protocol, or RDP, which uses TCP port 3389, is commonly used in corporate environments when you want to remotely connect to another user's desktop. Maybe you need to install some kind of software or work on their computer in some way. You could also use it to connect to a server to do some kind of activity. Is this true or false? That one's true. Remote desktop protocol, remoting into someone else's computer. Yes, so remember when I mentioned about you must know about the port numbers and the port numbers and what it identifies to each that is on the test. Let's look at another question. You are observing a coworker troubleshoot a network issue on a customer's computer. You see her open a command line and issue the following command: ping www.google.com. What is likely her reason for doing this? So if we're pinging like a website, chances are we're checking for internet connectivity. So that's another example of a scenario type of question you may find on the test. Just a couple more to go. When I mentioned about IP addresses and knowing memorizing IP addresses, because you're going to have to differentiate between what is valid and what's not valid, or maybe what's private or not. This is an example on the test. The following IP address is valid: 192.168.156.1. True or false? And this one is false. So each octet or that section must contain a number between 0 and 255. Hence, if it has 256 in there, you know it's not valid. That's a sample question. Another sample question: is the following IP address private? 10.69.42.0. This one is true. So the reserved private IP network ranges, as you can see noted below, those are what you're going to have to memorize for the test to answer some of the questions. So this is a sample question, but you can expect questions like these on the test. Let's do one or two more. Let's see. Convert the following binary number into human readable format. So we have 0000 1000. So he provides, like when it comes to calculating binary code, he provides the hint up here that is in the test to help you when calculating. So this one, remember when you line up the numbers on the hint line below the set of 8 numbers, it's a matter of multiplying, what would be below. So this one would be 8, because it would be 1 times that number 8 in the fourth from the right hand side, moving 4 spaces over, be 1 times 8. That's how you get 8. But when you go through the module or that particular, that particular module binary, definitely go over that, because these type of questions will be on the test where you'll have to calculate. And I think one last question. Let's see. What ports do HTTP, HTTPS typically use? And like I said, we have to know the ports and protocols. So TCP ports 80 and 440 respectively. That is on the test. So that's it for this sample section of questions. For the test, you can expect similar test questions, just like you've seen here today, and more on the final exam. So that's it for the sample question portion of this video. Just a few final thoughts and tips to help you succeed on your test. Just keep in mind, just as the instructor has said, probably through the modules or at the start of the modules, in order to pass the final exam, just keep note of, 3 things. 1, keep note of any time in the modules and the videos, and it says on the final exam, on your screen, take note of those moments, like the ports and protocols, the binary section, the situational section, in terms of just how, in case scenarios, hypothetical scenarios. The second thing, don't hesitate to take notes. I was a big note taker, to help me work your way through the labs at least twice. That will drastically help you. And third, use the Anki deck that he will provide for you. The study card flash deck is a huge help. So all of those things I went like twice over personally for myself. I took 1 to 2 days to just study everything twice over, but I know you guys will do great. So if you're about to take the final exam, I wish you luck. You'll do great. If you've already passed the class, or if you found this video helpful, please give it a like. Share your comments below with your experience. I will also leave affiliate link below if you want to check out the introductory course on your own. If you're just hearing about Course Careers, you can check that out for yourself. And there's also, I'll leave a discount code below to save those coins. Anyway, so that's it for now. You guys, good luck on the exam. I hope this helped you guys out. And until next time, I will see you in the next one. Bye.